Oh, hello. Today I'm going to talk about a fresh batch of kill team rumours, and these are absolutely wild. We're going to be talking about Corsairs, we're going to be talking about Mimes, and we're going to be talking about squats. Bear with me. So, these come from the Eldari Discord server, which, if you keep up on your 40k rumours, they've been releasing a set of rumours for Advent, one every day, related to the upcoming Eldar release for Warhammer 40,000. And I haven't been covering them on the channel because I've said before I'm only going to cover kill team rumours. But today, Christmas Eve, when I'm supposed to be driving up north to meet my parents, they've released a rumour about kill team. So there is a kill team box coming that includes Eldar Corsairs. Okay. Harlequins get a kill team box sometime next year with a new unit for use in 40k. No details on it yet. Note, this is the new unit mentioned in day 10 of the Harlequins calendar, which is pictured on the same slide here, and it just says Harlequins also get a new unit later in the year, so there's no new information there. And the final paragraph here, non-Eldari kill team, squats will get a kill team box eventually, but that is potentially a long way away. So 3 distinct rumours here from the Eldari 40k Discord server. If you want to see the rest of their rumours that pertain to 40k and Eldar, the Discord server link is there in the image. Go and fill your boots. But I'm just talking about kill team on my channel. So, the first part of the rumour. There's a kill team box coming up that includes Eldar Corsairs. So, I've done a whole video on the Eldar Corsair rumours that were circulating before this advent calendar came out. That one's from Reddit. I've speculated before in my terrain video and my teams videos about what I think the next kill team box is going to be. I still think it's going to be the next big kill team box, and I speculate it's going to be the Corsairs, the plastic Deathworld Forest terrain, which includes those Eldar ruins, and something Imperial, and then further speculation, and it's entirely my speculation, maybe Primaris Scouts. And I've gone over my thoughts and reasoning about that one in prior videos, but this is just another piece of evidence that makes me think I'm on the right track with that idea. So let's move on to the juicier, newer parts of the rumour. Harlequins to get a kill team box sometime next year with a new unit with rules in 40k. Well, this was a surprise. I genuinely thought that when Corsairs were coming out and that we found out that Harlequins in 40k were getting rolled into the Eldar Codex, that would be it. We wouldn't get a Harlequin team. We'd just get the Corsair team. That would be the plastic team for Craft Worlds and for Harlequin players, right? But this rumour makes me think that they might get a new box. And so the speculation, it is speculation. This is something that Zimbad turned me on to because he's a little bit older than I am. So he actually remembers Rogue Trader a little bit. In Rogue Trader, Harlequins had a unit called Mimes. Now, I've gone through and found one of the old Rogue Trader manuals. It's the White Dwarf Compendium, I think, that had the old Harlequin army list in, which has a little bit to say about Mimes. So, Mimes, under the command of the Master Mime, instead of allocating individual troops in the performance, it's customary for Mimes to go in advance of a mask or troop to announce their arrival. Frequently, they simply appear on a craft world or elsewhere without anyone knowing when or how they arrived. This skill is also used in warfare, the oft-repeated stories of enemy commanders suddenly and unaccountably finding a Harlequin calling card in their command centres are typical examples of the tactics Mimes use to undermine enemy morale. Infiltration and assassination are their specialty. And that's really it. Yep, infiltration and assassination, it definitely sounds like they could be something for kill team. It's the only other new Harlequin unit that anybody can kind of think of that ever existed. I don't think we have anything beyond this little picture down here to let us know what the Mimes would look like. So maybe they're going to be hooded guys. Maybe they're going to have those slightly more demonic looking horns coming out of their masks. But otherwise, they're going to look pretty similar, I think, to the Harlequin troops. Maybe, Games Workshop are probably going to reinvent them. That's it. That's all they have to go on. So Games Workshop are going to have to create a whole load of new background for them. I would be surprised if they're going to release a unit called Mimes and it's not going to come out with a sort of black and white colour scheme. That would be my assumption. But yeah, an infiltration unit for the Harlequins, for Kill Team, potentially called Mimes. Yeah, I don't really have much more to add to that. I'm not old enough to have played any Rogue Trader. I started in 2nd edition, so maybe. Last one, Squats. Squats will get a new Kill Team box eventually, but that's potentially a long way away. So, I actually think this is more likely than it is unlikely. And I've got a couple of reasons why I think that. Okay, first of all, there's been a lot of concept work for modern squats in Necromunda. So they've released, I think, about 3 different resin squats in Necromunda. So they've obviously been thinking about what squats would look like these days. But I think it makes a lot of sense for them to release them as a kill team. We've got to think about Games Workshop's business model. It's a bit similar to video games or similar something like that, where the cost is all up front, right? The cost is in paying the creatives to design the miniatures, and then making, and apparently it costs tens of thousands of pounds to make the steel mould to stamp out the sprues. But once you've done that, it costs pence to actually make a box. So it's very different to, you know, if you think, oh, going to the supermarket and buying a piece of cheese, like, the value is actually in the physical thing, the cost of the milk, the cost of the labour for the process, the cost of the packaging, the cost of the shipping. That's what you're paying for. And so you can think about, oh, well, however many units we sell, we make that much profit. And that doesn't really change. Whereas with something like miniatures, you pay this massive upfront R&D cost. And then the more you sell, you get to a certain point where you've paid off your initial cost, and then you're effectively printing money. It's the same with video games. You know, you develop the video game, and you sell them, and after a certain point, every game you sell is basically pure profit. Okay? So, squats are going to be a hard thing for Games Workshop to sell. I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, squats would be great. Actually ask yourself, of all the people that think, oh yeah, squats would be great, would you actually buy a squat army for 40k? And the reason I ask this is, as I said on the previous slide, I've started playing, I'm in my mid-30s, I started playing Games Workshop games in the last year or so of 2nd edition. So I remember squats as a series, they were a series of unit entries in a book that was called Codex Imperialis, which is a lot like the 8th edition indexes that first came out, the sort of get you by lists for the massive transition it was from 1st to 2nd edition. But they never got a codex and they never got a single new model, and I knew nobody when I was a kid that had a squat army. It was something you could look at, you could read there like 2 pages of background and look at the unit profiles, but they were, even when I was playing in 2nd edition, a dead range. So I don't think there's this massive cohort of people out there who really love squats and really want them to come back. I don't think the nostalgia power is there. You know, I remember reading Ian Watson's Jack Draco trilogy of novels. It's really old 40k fiction. It's a very good book, by the way, Ian Watson books, but they're very old. And there's a squat character in that, but it's not really explored as a culture, and so I don't really have much idea of what squats are beyond the fact that they're space dwarves and they have motorbikes, right? And that's it. I don't know if there's more to them. I think while I was playing, they were still a going concern in Epic 40,000, right? And they have land trains and leviathans and things like that, but I never played Epic, so I just don't know how popular squats would be if they came out. So why would they come out as a kill team? Well, I think there's a lot of people, me included, that wouldn't pick something up to do a whole 40k army of it. But if it came out and the kit was cool, a kill team, 1 squad, paint them up, put them on the shelf, that is a much easier sell. And secondly, because of the way kill teams are released, put it in a box with something else. Now, I don't know if squats would be an Imperial faction. I dimly remember back in the day they were kind of Imperial aligned, so I've got a kind of mental image of a squat with a peaked cap on, and the peaked cap's got an Imperial eagle on. They were kind of like, you got Ogrins and Rattlings in the Imperial Guard, and the Ogrins are basically space ogres, and the Rattlings are basically space halflings or space hobbits, whatever you want to call them. and the squats were basically space dwarves, and they were kind of more their own thing than the Ogryns and the Ratlings, but they, like dwarves, work with men a lot in Warhammer Fantasy. They were very closely tied into the Imperium. Would squats that came out in 2021 be another Imperial faction, or would they be their own thing, or would they be more like the Eldar, where it's like, well, we will work with the Imperium now and again when Chaos are slaughtering everything, but we really would rather not because we're not the same team and we fight against them as much as we fight with them? I don't know. If they're in a box, though, they could be in a box with something else that was more of a guaranteed popular item, maybe a Chaos, a Chaos Space Marines kill team, for example. And then they would sell loads of units that way, even to people that might not otherwise have bought them. Games Workshop do this all the time, and it's all about meeting that massive upfront costs of the molds. Because once they've met the upfront cost, everything else they make after that point is pure profit. And so if you make a kill team and you sell a load, because one, it's a smaller investment for people to do a kill team than a whole army, so they will, if they're curious, they'll pick it up and paint them. And two, you bundle it in a box with something that's more of a certain sell, yeah? Then you pay off the development cost for your squats, and then if the kill team doubles as the sort of core troops box for a 40k squat army, you can then quite easily work that up into a small. Think about how Harlequins are now, where they're basically on the back of one box and a couple of characters and a vehicle kit. You could easily work that up into a small 40k army and see where we go from there, and at least you're not worried about making your money back from the squad box. So, I think it's got potential, but I'm not sure how popular it would be. I don't know where all these people are that are crying out for squats. It used to be a thing, and I think it's become a bit of a sort of repeated meme now, where people are like, oh yeah, squats, that'd be great. Well, maybe. Maybe Games Workshop really thinks they would be because they weren't sure. I don't think that Sisters were going to be really popular, and Sisters of Battle in 40k have, by all accounts, sold absolutely gangbusters, which is why they have brought out, that whole second wave of Sisters in 40k. So I think there's a lot of truth in the idea that Games Workshop simply doesn't really know a lot of the time how popular something will be if it's not a Space Marine. And if you remember that, it makes a lot of sense of a lot of their business decisions. They're just really bad, I think, at understanding how popular or unpopular something will be, and actually quite risk averse. So, final thoughts. Let me know in the comments, would you buy squats? Would you buy them as a kill team? Or maybe you're one of the few people that's really excited them to come out as an army. I'm going to have a chat with Zimbad at some point, who's a little bit older than me, and perhaps remembers squat armies and squat players in 2nd edition, and find out if he's excited for the concept of squats. But certainly, for someone like me who's been playing since 2nd edition, I've got a very tenuous grasp on what a squat even is. Merry Christmas. Again, it is Christmas Eve. I'm supposed to be doing so many other things today, but I've come out to make this video. There's probably not going to be a video tomorrow. There's probably not going to be a video, but I've said that before. Something as newsworthy as this might come out again and force me to kind of chivvy out some time to make a video for you guys, but I wouldn't expect one for the next week. Okay, but perhaps. And the last thing I wanted to ask people in the comments section is, are these non-codex kill teams actually annoying? And what I mean by that is, I can imagine there's somebody sat there who really loves Chaos Space Marines, or they really love Tyranids, or they really love Necrons, and they're waiting for the plastic team and the book for their guys, because they want to play their army that they love. And if squats come out and take up a slot, we know we're getting 2 plastic teams a quarter. One thing I would say with these rumours is that squats aren't going to come out in the next box or the box after that. So it seems pretty likely then that Kill Team's going to carry on for a little bit. We only actually got that initial commitment in the image to 4 boxes, but if they're going to do squats, they're not going to come out in the first 4 boxes, right? It's going to be further down the line, surely, because surely if they bring out something like this before all of the 40k Codex armies, or most of them, have got something, at least in White Dwarf, people will be upset by that. I don't know. That's my speculation again. Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, then please click the thumbs up like button. If you would like to see more of my videos, then subscribe. You can buy things from Element Games if you want to give me a small amount of money without actually having to give me any of your money as well. That's quite good. And yeah, Merry Christmas, and I will see you again at some point. quite possibly in January, but possibly before. All right, cheery bye everyone. Have a great rest of your day.